Hello and welcome into NFL Daily Live. I am Tom Downey. Producer Chris, once again, behind the scenes on today's show. A very busy day across the NFL and a very disappointing day for Jets fans. If you are a Jets fan watching, I do feel very sorry for you guys on a sad day for Jets fans everywhere. We'll talk about Aaron Rodgers later on in today's show. We will also talk trade rumors as NFL Network reporting that the Colts will once again explore Jonathan Taylor trade talks and conversations later on this season before the trade deadline once he's healthy again. So sound off for me. Will the Colts trade away Jonathan Taylor by the NFL trade deadline? Y for yes, N for no. The Colts at this moment have the worst running back room in the NFL. Their other guy's hurt. One guy's healthy. The other backup got hurt now too, so it's kind of a mess over there. But they have an unbelievable asking price. It's not fun. Asking for Jalen Waddle and Christian Watson, get out of here. If the asking price drops, very real possibility. If it doesn't, then they're going to be stuck with the decision of do they sit him? Do they pay him? Do they try to get him to play? I don't know. It's going to be interesting what happens there. Chris commented Y for yes, N for no. Dustin says yes. Robert Harris says yes. Shamari Peoples says yes. Shane Amick says yes. Robert says the price will drop. If they get to a reasonable ask, even a second right now would be a reasonable ask versus Jalen Waddle, come on, then I could see it happening. There are teams that could be in the market that might view themselves as a piece away, even if there has never been a running back who put a team over the top since Emmitt Smith. But keep the comments coming, Y or N down there. I see Gaming Wizard says yes. Lamar Adams says yes. What do you think ends up happening? Will the Colts trade Jonathan Taylor by the deadline? What was the most impressive Week 1 performance? You can do player, you can do coach, you can do team overall. What performance impressed you guys the most in Week 1? Couple that stood out to me. Thought Tua and Tyreek Hill were unbelievable in Miami. The Lions, I think, should get a bunch of credit for winning that football game. The Cowboys against the Giants, 40-0 in the heavy rain is pretty damn good. I see the Browns who gave me what's up with the Browns defense. They shut down the Bengals offense. That was very impressive. I see some Cowboys in there. Calvin Ridley. By the way, Cowboys defense got me 40 fantasy points in my league, and I won by 20. The reason why I won. Dallas defense, Cowboys, Dallas defense. Drew Allure says the Niners defense. Yes. I thought the Niners defense looked great. Much like the Giants, some of it's on the offense too. But yeah, the Niners defense was awesome. Calvin Ridley, good answer. I think there were some awesome Trevor Lawrence throws, by the way. Just some unbelievable tight window challenging throws that he made. Tyreek Hill is in there too. Tua and Tyreek. I think those are your standouts there. Feel like Tua's a lock for the FedEx Air Player of the Week, or Tyreek Hill was one of the two. That's kind of a no-brainer. Tua was that Dolphins offense was clicking. Mike McDaniel was in his bag. Jordan D says the Falcons. I don't know. I don't know about the Falcons. I think they're maybe top 10 in that category there. Papa Doc's Fishing says mostly impressed with the Lions. How about impressive? Other stuff was expected. Okay. I mean, if we're going to do it based on expectations, sure. I think exceeding expectations the most probably was the Lions upsetting the Chiefs. Jordan Love, it's a good one too. Joshua Dobbs, I thought he was okay. Kind of thought he was what he saw with the Titans last year, where he wasn't that bad, actually. Held up decently. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. Okay. Mac Jones. I would have given it to Mac Jones if they had won. They threw it a lot, had some success. Going from Matt Patricia to Bill O'Brien, much better. Much better. Maybe not the best there. I'll probably give the Jets some love here, too. They got that dog in them. They could have quit and folded over, and no one would have been mad. But they didn't. I'll give them credit for that front. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. If you are searching for last-minute tickets, Game Time has you covered because buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. They have killer deals on last-minute tickets and a best price guarantee so you can stop stressing over the cost and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. Simply download the Game Time app, create an account, use code NFL Chat, that's NFL Chat, for $20 off your first purchase. Once you create that account, simply go to the app, go to the profile section on the bottom right, click redeem code, and plug in NFL Chat, hit redeem code, and then it will give you $20 off your first purchase. If you are like me, I have a 2-year-old-ish, she's not quite 2, but she's getting there at home. I do not plan events in advance. They are normally done the week of, or if not the day before, or whatever. Game Time has tickets right up to the day of the event and flash deals on whatever, so you'll always get the best price. They have a Game Time guarantee. Find tickets in the same section and row for less. Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Terms apply, but create your account, redeem code NFL Chat for $20 off at GameTime.co. Links in the comment section and the description of today's show. So download Game Time today for last-minute tickets at the lowest price, all of which is guaranteed. Let's talk NFL Draft, because we'll have some of that today. It'll be fun. How many quarterbacks do you think go in round 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft? I'm going to sip some of my caffeinated water here. It's got a sugar packet in there with caffeine. How many QBs go in round 1? 5 from Rashard Lee. It's a really good quarterback class. A lot of good college quarterback play, which makes that fun and makes the draft fun too. I see 5, 4 from Vince, 4s from Robert Harris, Logan Carruthers, Zaire Kifa, 6 from Anthony. Hunter says 3, Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Shedeur Sanders. Dustin Rushing says 3. XD Gamer says 2 because Drake May is overrated. Bruce Chris does not like Drake May as much either. I do, although it's clearly Caleb Williams, QB1. Clayton Lockhart, 5. Stenson, 5. Papa Docs says 3 at the most. I want to see how the year plays out. I could see 5 again. It's not going to be above 5, but if the over-under's 4.5, I think it's just the right over-under. I'd probably take the under for now. I'd be tempted by that over. What's up, Producer Chris?
I want to add a weigh-in just for you here, Tom. Caleb Williams has come, or I don't think it was him. I think it was his dad.
He's turning pro. 0% chance he does not turn pro.
If the Cardinals get the number 1 pick,
he turns pro.
Are you? Okay.
Turns pro.
I just want to throw that out there.
Now, he might try to demand a trade. Sure.
That has been thrown out there in the space.
His dad's the only one who's said it. Okay. Only his dad's pushing it.
Okay.
He's turning pro. Now, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Mike Florio, as he's done 3 different times the past 5 years, he'd be like, he should demand a trade. He did it with Joe Burrow, did it with Trevor Lawrence, which, by the way, both those guys were him, so it works. Now, maybe there's the next, Eli Manning demands a trade, whatever, that's a possibility, but, you're not demanding the trade, and then in 3 years getting $60 million per year. No amount of NIL is going to prevent you from turning pro at the number 1 overall pick. Day 3 picks, different conversation. His family's doing well, but would you rather be playing in the NFL or hang out in college for a year? Go to the NFL. When you're the number 1 overall pick, you go pro.
It's not just college. He's at USC.
Sure. He can visit anytime he wants.
Okay.
I'd rather
be at USC than in Arizona any day.
Well, sure. But, he can demand a trade to the Rams then or something. It'll be fine. He'll turn pro. All right, we'll spend some time on the NFL injuries today. A lot of them, a lot of hamstring injuries, so it's not just me. Aaron Rodgers, the big one, though, out for the season. A torn Achilles, a heartbreaking development for Jets and Jets fans everywhere. Is the Jets' season now over? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off for me in the comment section. Shamari Peoples says yes. Dustin Rushing says yes. Vince says no. Rashard Lee says no. Clayton Lockhart says yes. Rashard Lee says no. I think Hunter has this right. He says, no, the defense will hold them down. The season's not over, but the expectations have changed drastically. It is not the same. If you get average quarterback play with that defense and that ground game and those pass catchers, you could certainly have, a 12, 13 win season. But if it's Zach Wilson, that defense was great last year. They won 7 games. Now, maybe he's better this year. Maybe being around Rodgers helped. But that is not a great situation for the Jets. So it's not over, but the status has dropped. So go vote at both the pin poll and in the comment section. 66% say yes, 34% say no. Is the Jets' season now over? Y or M? Another question for you guys here is, how many hours of football did you watch in week 1? Chris, how many hours did you watch?
Well, let's see. We did the Bengals watch party. So what was that? 3-4 hours right there.
Mm-hmm. Then kind of mostly watched games in between.
Yeah.
Between the Cowboys and Bengals game.
And then I watched Thursday and Monday Night Football. Really didn't get to watch much in between of that. So
see, I'm a nerd.
12 hours-ish.
I'm a nerd. I went back and watched the condensed versions. The condensed versions on NFL Plus are a game changer. Yeah. It's awesome. I can just binge them all rapid fire there. I see 12, 10, 16, 10, 15, 16, 10, because I have no life. I went back and I love the condensed versions.
I love putting on, like, right before bed. I'm a TV on as I fall asleep kind of guy. I love putting the compilation.
Oh, smart.
Of all the highlights.
Smart.
On, and I just fall asleep to that throughout the week.
I like it. 12, 16, 10, 12, 16. So a lot of hours. Richard, yes, I do. Now, I haven't gotten too far into it this week, but I do watch the All 22 as well, which is always entertaining. Always find stuff you didn't realize happened or didn't, you're like, how'd that happen? Oh, there we go. It did go down that way. So, or it's nice. I like the All 22. I'm going to try to do some more stuff on Twitter with that this year. We'll see. It's a lot easier for me just to watch it than watch and clip and post. It bogs me down. And I have a 2-year-old, so the time has been an issue there. Get the comments coming. How many hours of football did you guys watch in week 1? Now, if you are as excited as us that football is well and truly back, then like the video right now. I think every single person who is watching should like today's video. Up over 100 people watching. I mean, should be all of you. Should be all you who like it. Like the video if you haven't already done so. Because we did do power rankings and Aaron Rodgers replacements earlier today, we're only going to have a 3-segment NFL live show. Latest NFL news and rumors. I'll mention this does not include La'el Collins has been released by the Bengals off of the PUP list. His contract was about to become fully guaranteed. I don't think he was making great progress in his injury recovery, frankly. And also, I think he's kind of fully cooked. So I am not as surprised by that as some are. We'll have a mailbag. Get your questions in right now using hashtag NFL or by super chatting. And we're going to run through some Mel Kiper quarterback rankings. He's kind of adjusted things from that perspective. He's made some changes to his preseason list. So great time to update it from that perspective. All that's coming up live right now here on NFL Daily. We begin today's NFL Daily with some Jonathan Taylor trade rumors. Oh, yeah, they're back. They ain't going anywhere. Ian Rapoport says the Colts are going to revisit the Jonathan Taylor trade talks at some point this season. Now, the Colts had listened to offers before the season began, but as we'll get into, had a verifiably insane asking price. The NFL trade deadline is October 31st, which is worth mentioning because that's coming up before you know it. It needs to be bumped back by 2 weeks. Taylor's on the PUP list for the first 4 weeks of the year. Then he can come back. Rapoport says he can pass physical right now. Who knows if that's true or not. But this story's not over yet. Now, the two teams we know that were interested, the Green Bay Packers, which already had Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, and the Miami Dolphins, by the way. Two players were asked for in those trades, Jalen Waddle and Christian Watson, which is hilarious. How are you? It just doesn't make sense. No team is trading a promising young wide receiver who, even if they're not a true number one right now, probably could be in Waddle's case since Tyreek Hill is there, and or showed the ability to be a wide receiver one for a running back. And there's also this weird dichotomy. If the Colts value Taylor at a Waddle or Watson price, why wouldn't you pay him? Like, you get Taylor for way less than what it's going to cost to extend Waddle and Watson. So if that's the caliber of player, why wouldn't you pay them? The answer is because they weren't being serious with those trade conversations. And that's why talks went nowhere, despite the leak of, oh, we're close. Yeah, no, you weren't. You just tried to get someone to pull the trigger and panic trade on that one. Now, Taylor has been a very productive, impactful, dynamic, impressive running back in his time in the NFL. The ankle was really bothering him last year, led to a decrease in numbers, historically speaking. When you lead the league in carries 1 year, your numbers pretty much always go down, sometimes severely. That was the case with Taylor, who switched agents and wants a massive contract. Indy didn't want to give it to him at this time, led to a disastrous squabble between Taylor and the organization. The Colts, in the meantime, have the worst running back room in the NFL. Zach Moss, banged up, I think will be healthy for week 2. Deion Jackson didn't play that much. It was kind of a heavy Anthony Richardson run workload. Now Evan Hall is injured. So it's not good in Indy. I would not be surprised if there is a move made by the Colts with Taylor before the trade deadline. But what do you guys think? Will the Colts trade away Jonathan Taylor by that NFL trade deadline next month? Y for yes, N for no. It is today's pinned comment, so if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. I think it could happen with one big if. If the Colts lower their asking price. If it doesn't happen, nobody's making a trade. Nobody is trading away one of the better young receivers in the NFL for a running back who needs a new contract, who is also, you have to acknowledge it, and I think he's okay, but have to acknowledge it, who is injured. That's not how NFL teams do business, and it was frankly unserious of the Colts to have that type of asking price. Now, in the event that the Colts do shop Jonathan Taylor, the Green Bay Packers stand out as a fit, the Miami Dolphins stand out as a fit, plus just staying in Indy, kind of want to acknowledge that one too. Maybe they just pay him and get over it, or he shows up and does his job. The Baltimore Ravens, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Buffalo Bills, all teams that are aggressive, have some semblance of a question mark in the backfield, could be aggressive, try to add a running back. So this will certainly be one of the big trade pieces to watch as we get closer and closer to the NFL trade deadline coming up at the end of October. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Who here has tried to buy tickets last minute, whether it's for a sporting event, a concert, comedy show, whatever? I know I have. It's a pain in the butt, right? And I was constantly searching of different platforms, what's got the best deal. The answer is Game Time. Use Game Time. Download the app today, create an account. Use promo code NFL Chat, and they will give you $20 off your first purchase. Just create your account. It's a really easy process, by the way. It takes like 30 seconds, if that, to create your account. Then go over to the profile tab, hit redeem code, use promo code NFL Chat, $20 off. Terms do apply, of course, by the way. But Game Time, they make it simple. You don't have to plan months in advance. They have deals on tickets right up until the day of the event. You can get images of your seat before you buy. That middle photo, by the way, just take your camera and look to the left, look to the right, look up, look down. You'll see the camera move just like you. It's kind of like a live photo. It's a fantastic feature of the app. You can buy tickets in a matter of seconds. 2 taps and you are set. They're sent right to your phone. You don't have to dig through your email anymore. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code NFLChat for $20 off your first purchase. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. NFL injury news today. Aaron Rodgers is out for the season after he tore his Achilles in NFL Week 1, as I'm sure we all know. And as a result, let me just be clear, we have had some bonkers ideas out there around the replacements for Rodgers. We looked at some of them earlier today, or I should say on Tuesday. Let's look at some names here that stand out more than most. Tom Brady. Honestly, if you are the Jets, don't you call? Don't you kind of have to call? I get he's a Raiders minority owner. You have to go through all that, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't you owe it to yourself? Like, you are a championship contender with average quarterback play. You also have the chance to do something truly hilarious. Adding Tom Brady to the Jets, he's old, it's highly unlikely, but wouldn't it be funny? Like, Patriots fans, trigger warning, that is a nightmare for them. And they get late in the year, Jets-Patriots. Jets take down New England against with Tom Brady at QB. Now, the Jets' offensive line is bad. It is bad, as we saw. Although, I will make note, too, Rodgers immediately is camp or whoever's saying he didn't like the cut blocking and that's why he got hurt. Okay, get rid of the football. It's quick game. That's all it is. If it is quick game and you hold the football forever, that's what happens. I also don't think that's Achilles are Achilles. I'm of the mindset that the Achilles are going to tear. Like, it's just kind of how it is. It sucks, but you're not. It's not like you took a bad hit. It was worn down. It tore. It happens, you know. Now Brady gets the ball out quick. The cut blocks would work. It seems highly, highly, highly unlikely. But wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be kind of funny of seeing Tom Brady out there in a Jets uniform? Maybe sacrilegious is another term for it. Wrong could be another one. I'm also unconvinced that his age we ever see Brady play again. I don't think he's coming back to the Jets, by the way. So will he ever play again in the NFL? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Get your votes in for me in the comments section. Let's talk Colin Kaepernick. I know this is annoying, but big media keeps talking about it, so we'll talk about it. Kaepernick's agent has reached out to the Jets about playing for them, at least his agent, which I think is kind of annoying. Like, Kaepernick says all he needs is a shot. All he needs is a shot. He had to work out with the Raiders. They passed him. He has not played in the NFL since 2016. And this is the part, whenever we talk about Kaepernick, it just turns it into politics stuff. Like, both sides just make outrageous claims of like, it's like, no, you're both wrong. What are you talking about here? So, and both sides get mad at me when I say this, which makes me think I am right by taking the I don't know, partisan, whatever it is, partisan, bipartisan, whatever the proper term is, middle ground, right? Of course Kaepernick wants a shot. And Colin Kaepernick, to be clear, got blackballed by the NFL. That is why the NFL settled out of court, because they knew they were wrong. They knew that Colin Kaepernick should have been signed. It was ridiculous that he wasn't. But the dudes that were getting shots over Kaepernick back then, that is who Colin Kaepernick is now, with a slightly different adjustment there. It has been 7 years at age 35 since Colin Kaepernick has played an actual NFL snap. We would not be doing that for any other quarterback. We're not doing it for Tony Romo. All right? We're not even doing it for Cam Newton, who's younger and played more recently. It's time to move on. Kaepernick lost. It's BS. But it doesn't actually make football sense to continuously be advocating for a 35-year-old guy who hasn't played football in 7 years. Do you know how many guys fit that mold? A ton of them. He should have been on the football team a long time ago. The NFL won their thing, but it doesn't make sense anymore. Now, we do have a more in-depth look at some other more realistic names on our Aaron Rodgers video. The replacements video went out earlier Tuesday morning. If you're subscribed, you probably saw it. If not, hit that sub button. Make sure you don't miss out on on future videos. All right, we're going to go rapid fire on injury news here, other stuff. J.C. Horn going to miss multiple weeks with a hamstring injury. Cam Hayward will undergo groin surgery. TBD on his timeline. He might be out for a while. I'm sure the Steelers fans will be advocating for J.J. Watt. Deontay Johnson, a lot of hamstring injuries. I also pulled mine. Haven't pulled a hammy or a muscle in my life. I turned 30 and then I play flag football and pull it immediately. He's going to miss multiple weeks. I feel like mine's much less worse, though. Greg Dulcich will miss multiple weeks as well. That is the Broncos tight end. Fantasy players, be concerned here. Austin Eckler has an ankle injury, severity unknown. Might be time to snag Joshua Kelly off your waivers. Andrew Thomas has a hamstring injury, severity not yet known. They probably should have pulled him and Daniel Jones earlier. And the earlier injury, J.K. Dobbins, and they're going to have a massive negative impact on his future. Achilles injury, he's going to miss some time. Cam Akers came back quickly, didn't have the same injury history that Dobbins did. Hopefully he's good to go for week 1 next year, but we'll see on that front. Now, from week 1, who had the most impressive performance? Let me sip some water here. Week 1, most impressive performance. See, Dallas D, Cowboys in there. I would put the Jets in there too. Now, Josh Allen's in the running for least impressive performance. That was bad. Literally, all he had to do was just be normal. It's that. You know that meme of the mom screaming at the kid, "Why can't you just be normal?" That was Bills fans to Josh Allen. He made some awesome highlight reel plays, but just be normal. Don't just constantly go YOLO ball. Don't hurdle over 2 defenders on 3rd and 7, 5-yard shy. Just be normal. Can't make that happen there. Nathan Wagner mentions Jordan Whitehead. It's a great answer right there. Tyreek Hill and Tua, also great answers. Brock Purdy, you know what? Logan's is coming off the elbow injury. That's fair. It's very fair. Dallas defense again. A lot of good answers there. I'm very, very happy for the Jets, to be honest there. Hill, Tua, Purdy, Cowboys, very common ones in there. We will have a mailbag next for you guys. We will also hit the super chat as part of that mailbag from my guy Mark, by the way. But you can get your questions in via hashtag NFL or by being like Mark did and super chatting instead. We'll hit that one, any ones that come in. You do have to use hashtag NFL, but if you don't use the hashtag, producer Chris can't find your questions. It just kind of gets buried from that perspective. That's just kind of where it's at. So use hashtag NFL or super chat if you want to get on the show. So a lot of good comments in there, but if you guys don't use the hashtag, we just can't find them. So it just kind of gets lost in the filter of all the other comments. So get your questions in now, super chat, or use hashtag NFL on NFL Live. From Mark, say what you want. I'm glad we won't face Rodgers. Well, that's the first question of today's NFL mailbag. This, of course, the Cowboys not having to face Aaron Rodgers. I think Mark speaks for a lot of Cowboys fans. Aaron Rodgers has owned them. Bears fans would also agree to that statement. So that's sometimes you never wish for injuries. It does benefit Dallas. It will still be a tough game. That Jets defense is fantastic. From Lore, which player will be a bust from this season? I'm a little bit, I don't know. I'll save that one for later. Maybe we'll get a question on it. I don't want to be mean to players and call out busts, but week 1's biggest bust was T. Higgins, right? 8 targets, 0 catches. For the entire season, I'm a little bit anxious about that Chargers defense. Maybe it was just, but Bosa and Mack were silent. I'm sure they'll get things figured out there. It's only week 1. I don't want to panic too much, but Josh Allen will get back on track. Can't turn the ball over that much. I don't know if I have a great name at this point. Maybe the Jets receiver's not named Garrett Wilson. They were looking great pre-Aaron Rodgers injury. Now, not so much. Nathan Wagner, who are some wide receivers you think the Chiefs could trade for at the deadline? Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate your question. Names to monitor. I know the Bucs said they're not going to trade Mike Evans. I would certainly monitor the Bucs for Mike Evans and for Chris Godwin. Like maybe they bottom out a little bit from that perspective. I think Marquise Brown is a good name to keep an eye out for the Cardinals wide receiver, or if you want to go 2 tight ends, try out some Zach Ertz from that perspective. I think whatever team kind of bottoms out this year doesn't play very well. If Denver is bad, which I don't think they're going to be bad, but if they are bad, Sutton or Jerry Jeudy could make sense. Although I don't know if the Chiefs would do a intra-division trade like that. Chase Claypool could be had. I think the Bears are kind of over him right now. From Darrell, T. Higgins to the Giants for a second. Who says no? Bengals do. If the Bengals bottom out, which I'd be shocked if they did, they're not trading T. Higgins right now. Now, if you want to do this trade next year in the offseason, the not often seen tag and trade agreement actually does start to make some sense. Higgins is the body type this Giants team does not have at the moment. Beyond that, you're looking, Higgins in free agency makes sense, but the Bengals are contenders. They will not trade away a player who allegedly is not part of their long-term plans right now, but they have time to not be, to give a shot with Higgins and then see how it plays out in the offseason. So right now, no. Later, next offseason, much more in the cards. So will T. Higgins be traded? Y for yes, N for no. You guys can get your votes in for me in the comment section right now. It's the pinned comment, so if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. From Carter Reimer, is Miami the clear favorite for the East, especially if our defense gets better? If the defense gets better, I'm happy to put them in the favorite conversation. I think it's kind of, especially with Aaron Rodgers out for the year, like it was last year, Dolphins, Bills, if Tua stays healthy, they might have won the division last year. If the defense is better, then yes, absolutely. They are a legitimate threat. Tua is a top 10 quarterback, if not higher, when he is healthy. Just keep him upright and good things will happen. Junior Estrada, should the Patriots trade for Mike Evans? And there's a pretty long list of teams that try to trade for Mike Evans. Now, the Bucs won in week 1. If they keep winning, they will not trade away Mike Evans. But this is operating on the regression to expectations from the Bucs. So Patriots really do stand out as a good fit there for Evans. Gangsta Big Chungus, if your team isn't the Cowboys, then get good. A $2 super chat from Gangsta Big Chungus. There are plenty of other good teams, but only one team, to be fair, did have a 40-0 win to open up the NFL regular season. You bet on the Cowboys. They almost covered the over by themselves, and the under still hit. That's how big of a win it was there. You can bet on the NFL all season long at BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code NFL Daily for a 125% deposit bonus. They've got weekly games, prop bets, season-long futures, including MVP, with a new favorite for NFL MVP. It is Tua plus 700 for Tua. Patrick Mahomes plus 800. Josh Allen plus 900. Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow plus 1,000. Allen, 4 turnovers. Ignore them. Didn't happen, apparently. Although it's just one game. It's not going to make or break anybody, which wish more media took that approach. Tua, though, plus 700. Don't hate that, my friend. Logan Carruthers, where would you rank Brock Purdy among NFC starting QBs? I think there's still that he's still in the tier behind of, the Hurtses, the Prescotts, and Stafford when he's healthy, which I think he looked great in week 1. But after those top 3, make a pretty good argument for Purdy, right? Like, Kyler's banged up. Geno Smith didn't look very good in week 1. I think if you're ranking him, I'd probably put him 4th. Sorry, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, maybe 5th. Purdy, in many ways, is a younger, cheaper version of Jimmy Garoppolo. And Niners fans might not like to hear that, but it's not a bad thing. Like, Jimmy G's a good quarterback. And when you're paying them nothing, it's actually super valuable to have that type of player. And it's still young, too. So there, in theory, is more room for growth. So somewhere in the top 5, and probably like what Micah Parsons said, top 15 overall. A $5 super chat from Tyler Evans. Will my Panthers have a bad season? Expectations matter. I don't think Carolina will be a playoff team, but I do think they will see enough growth and promise from Bryce Young, and they win enough games to be in the playoff conversation come, early December, and they'll come up just shy. So if you define bad as missing the playoffs, yes. Are they going to be a bottom 5 team? No, I don't think so. Brody Dawson, should the Chiefs trade for Marquise Brown or Mike Evans? I mean, Mike Evans looked great with Johnny Manziel, looked great with some random Bucs quarterbacks at times. I think it'd be a great fit for Mahomes. The Chiefs just could free up 20 minutes. They just took Mahomes' roster bonus, made it into a sign-in bonus. Doesn't make sense to me. They're not aggressive enough with Mahomes. But I would love to see another playmaker added at wide receiver because I don't think Kadarius Toney's very good. I think he is I call him an F-boy. You know what the F stands for? He doesn't, I don't think he works hard enough, frankly. And I think that is why he had so many drops. Drops are mistakes. Up your practice effort, up your participation effort, your study. I think it'll lead to better success. I don't trust him. Sky Moore has been a non-factor. They miss Travis Kelce. I would get a receiver if I were the Chiefs. We'll see if they actually do. Now, name a player who you want to see traded. Any player you want to see on a different roster, go vote for me in the comment section right now. GM Evan Hinders, Chargers fire Brandon Staley next offseason and bring in Coach Prime. I do not think you will see Deion Sanders in the NFL. His whole thing works perfect for college. It's why he's a good college coach. But it doesn't work at the NFL. The recruiting, the challenging, it's not how NFL players respond. It's different. Keep him in college. He could be a great college coach. Anthony, Jets trade for Stafford and Rams start Stetson Bennett. If the Rams bottom out before the deadline, this will come around as a story. The money doesn't really quite work out that way, but who cares? If they're bottoming out for Caleb Williams, it actually makes some sense. Stetson Bennett's not good. He's not an NFL starting caliber quarterback. Jets would probably have some interest if Zach Wilson does not play well. But if the Rams keep winning, they're not going to trade him. Do you want daily NFL news all for free? You have come to the right spot. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Ben Smith, is Kenny Pickett a bust? Too early. Can't say it for certain. I do think maybe we all learned our lesson of preseason, he's going to be a star. Week 1, he's a bust. Let's dial it in, figure out a little bit more, give him some more time. I don't like Matt Canada as a play caller. I think Pickett has some good traits. I'm not out on him. Didn't have a very good week 1. Wasn't supported very well. Not going to call him a bust quite yet. But I do think Steelers, Pickett is a good answer for the most troubling week 1 result. Giants, DJ, offensive line, also probably a good one there. What do you think was the most concerning week 1 performance this year across all the NFL players, teams, coaches, etc.? Sound off in the comment section. Not surprised we got a La'el Collins question here. It happened in the middle of our live show today on Tuesday. Bengals have released La'el Collins from the PUP list. No, they should not sign him. No one should sign him. La'el Collins ain't healthy, guys. La'el Collins coming off another season-ending injury. The Bengals know how important offensive line depth is. The contract was a bit expensive. I don't think he is ready to play football right now. So check in again in a month or two. Maybe it makes more sense. But that guy shredded his knee. Shredded it. Did not play in the preseason at the end of the year. He is not ready to go. So big name, I know, but kind of worried he's cooked. Dustin Rushing, what position will the Cowboys go for in next year's draft? Let's see how the year plays out. Might be corner, depending on if you retain Stephon Gilmore. And you could be looking at maybe go back to offensive line. Maybe is always a good option there. So we'll see. We will have plenty of draft coverage here for you, though, I'm sure, on Chat Sports. All right, what is your area code? Sound off in the comments section for me, folks. Give some shout-outs here. 903, the 309, 305, 601, the 617, 216, 719, 614, 530, 614, 530, 419, S5, because my area is UK. I know nothing about how it works overseas. You can tell we're an American-based company asking about area codes. I don't know where is S5 in the UK. What does that even mean? It's the right answer for them, but because I'm not familiar with it, it's like if you were asking, I don't know, like someone had never seen a football game when I've never heard of it, and they go, "Yeah, can you go play left guard?" You're like, "What? I'm guarding the left person?" It's just Greek to us. 432-918-619. It's like you've never seen algebra before, and you say solve for x, and you go, that's a letter. How do we solve for x? Doesn't make any sense. 336-506-619, 562-540, 336 540-918-617-240. Keep the area code comments coming as we get set up for the final segment of today's show. We're talking draft. I'm going to keep trying to talk draft on Tuesdays. It's fun for me. Keep the area codes coming. Appreciate that, folks, in the comments section. We're taking a look today at the 2024 NFL Draft quarterback rankings from Mel Kiper. Now, Mel, right before the season began, did put out his initial quarterback list. He did an interview recently and did make some changes to his top 4. So that will be included, and then we'll mention everyone else on his top 6, because he only did 6, and of the other guys he left off. No surprise, number 1, Caleb Williams. That is the not unanimous, but pretty damned close to it consensus around college football. If you've stayed up late for Pac-12 After Dark or just watched the highlights, you've seen some absurd out-of-structure stuff from Caleb Williams. This year, 3 games played. I mean, this is awesome. 78.6%, 878 yards to the air, 13 scores. And they have not played very many good schools. They have not. But he is a fantastic quarterback. I do want to see a little bit more stability, consistency in the structure. You know, Mahomes is great out of structure, but he constantly wins inside of it. I want to see Williams do more of that. Aaron Rodgers also fits a similar mold there. That's my comp. No Mahomes comps. They're banned. Aaron Rodgers, though, for Caleb Williams, I like that one, especially young Aaron Rodgers. Number 2, Drake May. Not everyone likes Drake May. I'm a big fan. Takes me back to when I was higher on most than Justin Herbert. Like, I think I had him 15th or somewhere in that range on my rankings that year, and among all players. And I remember some very smart football people were like, Herbert's not a first-round pick at all. May reminds me, maybe it's the number and the arm apparel that he wears with wrist tapes, etc. Numbers don't look that great. The 2 interceptions, they would look much better had it not been for some drops from the UNC receivers and a bunch of red zone rushing touchdowns that have been had by the UNC offense. He makes a lot of high-level NFL throws. He is a football nerd's quarterback, where it's not the same like flashy stuff that Caleb Williams does, but operating in structure, he does a really, really good job. Now, those 2 guys are going to be first-round picks, even if you don't maybe like them for whatever reason. Other players, quarterback 3 battles wide open, will also be first-round picks. So take your best guess here. How many quarterbacks go in round 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft? It's the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. Now, Kiper made a change. Shedeur Sanders, who was not on his top 6 preseason, is now number 3, and according to Mel, a guaranteed high first-round pick. Here's what Mel said. Said Sanders to me right now is a guaranteed high first-round pick. I think if we look at the way he's played at Colorado and the Sean Lewis offense, the accuracy has been unbelievable. If he stays at Colorado, we'll be talking about him next summer like we're talking about Caleb Williams right now. Number 1 pick guaranteed. So he's got a decision to make. Got to be excited with everything we're seeing right now with this football team, but particularly Shedeur Sanders, what a quarterback he is. Now, I have liked Sanders dating back to his Jackson State days. He's always been an NFL caliber quarterback, but there's way too much hyperbole here there for me. Kiper, what he's saying is, for a guy that wasn't top 6 on his list before the season began, and I don't even know if he was top 10, honestly, is now a guaranteed future first-round pick and first overall pick. Okay, based on 2 games. I have and will continue to mock Sanders in round 1. I love his game. There's a lot to like. I want to see him do it against bigger competition. He's delivered there, but there are no guarantees a year and a half out. That's reckless. You know, we once had Spencer Rattler as the first overall pick, and he's still in school and maybe gets drafted. But I do love what Sanders has done so far. It is a wide open battle for the quarterback 3 spot behind Williams, behind Drake May. And there's a lot of very good quarterbacks who are competing for that spot. And Sanders absolutely is one of them. And I would like nothing more than to see Shedeur Sanders win the Heisman Trophy this year. I am cheering for this to work. I like his game a lot. I think Deion also knows, you know, if he wins the Heisman, he's gone. And I think Deion's okay with that and have his son have great success there. So I love what I've seen from Shedeur Sanders. I think he plays the game very intelligently. His football IQ is very high. I think he will be a first-round pick. But I will not guarantee that because it is September. And if Shedeur Sanders suddenly gets bad, he's not going to be a first-round pick. Like, there's a lot of football still to be played. So will Sanders be a first-round pick? Get your votes in for me in the comments section. Y for yes, he will. N for no, he will not. Number 4 is Quinn Ewers out of Texas, who I like, by the way, even though there is still some inconsistency in his game. Again, he was lower on Kiper's initial list at quarterbacks. He was number 6, now says he is at number 4. Saying, quote, Quinn Ewers, if we see that performance week in and week out, he's going to be way up there behind Caleb Williams, behind Drake May, and Shedeur Sanders in that 3rd or 4th spot overall at the QB, which put him early to mid-first round. Ewers wasn't that great against Rice. He was really great against Alabama. I'm sorry, Producer Chris. He's a Bama fan. This is your trigger warning. You can stop listening for 30 seconds here. He struggled with deep balls last year against Rice and threw some dimes. Now, the footwork is still not always the best. It's very, happy-go-lucky, inconsistent, which will drive some evaluators insane because they just want it structured. But Ewers can make some incredible plays. Like if flag football ever becomes an Olympic sport, that's my quarterback. He's so good at it. If he can continue to stay steady, he could very well be a first-round pick. I would not be surprised by that one. So who will be QB number 3 in the NFL draft? Lots of names you can go. Many more we're about to get to. But drop your early prediction right now. Now, the rest of the rankings we are about to get to here are based on the original Mel Kiper preseason list. He changed 3 and 4, so we took the original 3, 4, 5 and just moved them down a few spots. We'll break it all down for you here. But first, tell you guys about today's sponsor, Game Time. If you're trying to buy last-minute tickets, if you want to make sure you're getting the best deal on your sports, theater, concert, whatever tickets, Game Time is the place to go. They're giving you $20 off your first purchase when you use promo code NFLChat. That link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. Simply create your account by downloading the app at gametime.co. Super easy to use, by the way. It takes like 30 seconds, if that's going on. You're not doing all this log in, okay, create password, answer these. There's not a bunch of stuff. It's very simple. I appreciate that from the Game Time app there. Go to your profile, hit redeem code, plug in NFL Chat for $20 off. You get the best deals on tickets thanks to the Game Time Guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less than what you paid for, they will credit you 110% of the difference. They're just going to give you your money back and more. It's fantastic, you know? They have flash deals, last-minute tickets, and everything you could ever want from a sports and more app. Download Game Time today at gametime.co. Create your account. Use promo code NFLChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. But download Game Time today. The link and the promo code in the comments and the description of today's show. Number 5, Riley Leonard out of Duke. I like Leonard. The Clemson game got people going. Also showed the concerns I have with Riley Leonard, where he didn't complete a pass beyond 10 yards in that game. But he's a great athlete. There are flashes. I need to see more of a consistent passer. He's a really good athlete. Duke's going to be a contender this year, you know, relative to Duke expectations. Not saying they're going to win the national title or anything, but there. Leonard has room to be a more consistent passer. If that arrives, really good things are going to happen for him and for Duke. Number 6 is Bo Nix. It's very funny as we go through all the quarterbacks on the list we'll talk about today, how many transfers there are, and how the transfer portal, for the better, has impacted the college game and quarterbacks. Bo Nix, to be blunt, sucked at Auburn. He was a meme. And now he's a Heisman Trophy contender on a college football playoff threat. Now, I haven't played anyone of note. I thought Oregon overall kind of struggled against Tech. They kind of, I think, got caught sleeping a little bit. 5 touchdowns, 77.5% of the passes. I like Bo Nix. I'm saying that like I have memed him so much. He's a legit NFL player. Now, it might be like a day 3 pick still at his age and previous experience, but he's draftable. Michael Penix out of Washington is next up here. The lefty who he will get comped to Tua, by the way. I don't think their styles are really that similar beyond just being lefties, but his numbers have been pretty good. Washington can also be a real threat as long as Penix is healthy. I think that the medicals for him are going to be critical. If the medicals check out, he could very well be a top 100 pick somewhere in that range. If they don't, it's going to be a bit dicey. They do have some nice playmakers, by the way, the Huskies do. Who did Mel Kiper leave off his list? I think there are several players, one of whom had to be in the top 6 as far as I'm concerned, that were in their top 7, I should say, that were not on there. Who do you think he left off? Sound off in the comments. The big name for me is J.J. McCarthy. Now, I don't know how much we'll really get to see of the NFL caliber asks of McCarthy in the Michigan offense with not that many great teams they're playing early on this season. He's looked great so far. He has great athleticism, a just whip for an arm. Do not sleep on McCarthy. Spencer Rattler is controversial. The former Oklahoma, now South Carolina quarterback has been, I don't know, inconsistent up and down over the course of his career. You know, we'll see how that all plays out, but there is talent for Rattler. It really comes down to the interview. Rattler has not had the best interview stuff. I mean, y'all watched that Netflix series, right? And I've heard a lot of buzz about not just that, but his overall attitude. If he checks out the interviews, he can still be drafted. I like Jordan Travis. Again, college football this year has a ton of awesome college quarterbacks. Travis is one of them. That FSU team has a bunch of talent. They might go undefeated this year. I would not be surprised by that. That'll get Travis plenty of buzz. The strongest arm in college football probably belongs to Joe Milton. It's basically you put a rocket launcher on top of a rocket launcher. It's unbelievable how strong that arm is. If the consistency can be there, look out. We'll see how that happens this season. All 3 guys have played pretty well so far this year, by the way. Again, most of these guys not playing the best opposing teams. That's why there's 1 interception between them. We're getting into week 3, so give them some more time. They will begin to differentiate themselves as the season goes on. Michael Pratt, who I am heartbroken did not play against Ole Miss. He is a G5 prospect. or G6, G7, whatever we're calling it these days. But I like what he has to offer. So I am very excited to see what else he can do if he can get healthy. I don't know if that is going to be the case for Pratt going forward. If healthy, he's very good. Now, if you have not already, please make sure you guys are subscribed at youtube.com/chatsportstv. Free videos for you guys every single day when you hit that sub button. Some more quarterback process. I'll go faster here. Cameron Ward, I'm not as high on him, but I know there's some love from him in the NFL. Offers some fun, just overall arm talent. Jalen Daniels at Kansas, probably take him more seriously if he's healthy. He's really good. OSU quarterbacks get drafted now pretty early. Kyle McCord is the starter. Now, he has to play a whole season. I'm not putting 2-game sample size McCord in the first round. Let's see how the year plays out. KJ Jefferson, producer Chris commented to Jacoby Brissett. I don't mind that one. Probably won't lose a bunch of games for you. Could at least be a high-end backup. Jaden Daniels has to be less bad Josh Allen of just recklessness and be a bit more consistent. Did not play well against Memphis. I think that really hurt his eyes and the media scouts pretty early on. Clemson looks bad. Maybe it was Dabo's fault and not DJ Uiagalelei. Let's see how he plays this year in the Pac-12. Maybe he could find his way to. We're pretty deep in the quarterback list, so maybe late round pick. Tyler Van Dyke. I am prepared to get hurt again. I liked him a year ago. 2 years ago. He was terrible last year, but better coordinator play now at Miami. I might get hurt again by him. Sam Hartman checks off the good college quarterback, but old. How well does his game translate? I don't know. We'll see how he fares as Notre Dame plays more tougher talent. He's a very good quarterback, though. Grayson McCall, I think, there was some brief hype around him earlier in his career. That's kind of cooled off a little bit there, but I still like him. And Devin Leary was supposed to be great for NC State. Had a terrible year last year. I have been whelmed so far by his play at Kentucky. But these are all veteran players. They're going to get a shot in the NFL. It's a matter of, is it a real shot, or is it like you come in for a training camp and then you kind of flame out? A lot of great college quarterback play, though, across the NFL. CFB, duh. A lot of great college quarterback play in the NFL. Yeah. All the way through the video, and then we screwed it up. Is the Jets season now over? Y for yes, N for no. Get your votes as we hit the super chats from Mark that came in. We'll break down those. Mark's super chats. So Rodgers gets paid in full. Let me pull up his contract here. He's not going to get all of it, but a good amount of it. He gets paid this year. Let's see. What's guaranteed for injury and what's not? Yeah, he'd get everything guaranteed next year. Well, it's all injury guaranteed. So that's kind of the point of the injury guarantees of you got hurt on the job, so the company has to pay you type of deal. So he doesn't get all of it. He might get 75 maybe. NFL might do some injury exemption stuff to balance the books a little bit there, but that's how football works sometimes. From Mark, I need to see more from Mozzie. I see a trend with Dallas where we tout and hype our high picks, then they share time. Good players don't share time. Depends on the position, though. Defensive linemen are going to share time. Running backs are going to share time. To a lesser extent, some receivers and linebackers share time. So whatever defensive tackle you picked was going to share time last year. That's how it was going to be. So, for example, let me pull up the numbers here. Chris Jones, I think we would all agree, just got paid, of course, is one of the best, if not the best defensive line, played in all 17 games last season. He even split time. He played his most snaps ever last year at 80%. It's a lot of snaps for a defensive tackle. He played under 70 the year before that. Quinnen Williams, another elite player who fits a different mold than what Mozzie is. He played 75% of the snaps last year. Vita Vea, who I think is, again, your best case outcome for a player like Mozzie Smith, his career high in snap counts is, When he played a full season, let's clarify it that way, was at 66%. You're not going to ask Mozzie in year one to play a massive volume of snaps. That's not how defensive tackles, nose guards get played. From Mark, still see issues if we backload. This is about the Cowboys. Contracts, corner, center, wide receiver, QB, DT, all need to be signed along with some safeties. Draft has to be offensive line, age and depth at O-line. Yeah. Osa's the one I'd be worried about at DT, not Hankins. Center checks out. You might replace Gilmore with a cheap option. Lamb, you've got some time with, but Lamb and Dak will be expensive, but you'll shift off other contracts. You have to draft well. That is how football works. Mark is right here. If you don't draft well, you will not have success. Eventually, you will run out of time. Relative to most teams, the Cowboys do draft pretty well. Appreciate everyone who tuned in for today's live show. If you haven't already, please make sure you guys are subscribed. YouTube.com/chatsportstv. Back live again on Thursday with more NFL coverage.